Welcome to the Casual Temple. This week, we welcome back composer and songwriter and now author, Kimberly Steele. Kimberly is located in the suburbs of Chicago, where she lives with her husband and cats. Kimberly is going to talk about the upcoming book, Sacred Homemaking, an exploration of the spiritual, intentional, and creative dimensions of making a home feel like a home. Kimberly, I'm so happy to have you
That's
back.
amazing. Thank you. Yes, I'm so happy to be here. Uh,
Yes,
I'm here in Aurora, Illinois, and
perfect.
and as you said that you were in Seattle, Washington.
Yes, I'm in
Nice.
Seattle.
What's your weather like right now?
Well, today it happens to be kind of cloudy. And in May in Seattle, it's this hilarious thing where it's sunny, but it's still cold.
It's been cool here, but it
Mhm.
warmed up very quickly over the last few days. So I'm
Oh,
it's
nice.
nice. My irises are blooming.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's nice. And I think the cat mint is about to pop and
cool.
yes.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
anyway,
Yes.
yeah, so sacred homemaking, you did a beautiful job describing it. Yeah, I wish I had thought of that.
You can have
Uh,
it.
I consider it a take on the tidying genre from the occultist standpoint. So people who are familiar with Marie Kondo, or otherwise known as KonMari, and Swedish death cleaning, will find that it's definitely got big similarities to those books, but it's far more of an American take, and it's far more, again, an occult point of view.
Hmm.
Mhm. And and as I was saying before, the book is divided into really five, well, I mean, if you include the indexes, it's six sections, but really five main sections. I begin with introducing the concept of sacred homemaking, which is the idea of starting a constant conversation with your living space and the items in it. As and certainly this has more than a touch of animism. But once we begin to talk to our things and our spaces, our the spirit of place, essentially, we open the conversation and we become more than, because I feel for a very, very long time, humans have just done a lot of talking to their things. They've done a lot of talking and no listening.
Mm-hmm.
And everything in this world, including this tea mug, including the computer, including the air, including the microphone, and you, me, the door, the window, the cat, everybody has an intention. And the way we can open the conversation is via gratitude, because gratitude is the quickest shortcut to communicate with a non-corporeal being. And it's the
Hmm.
best, and you always, it's a great way of also kind of demon proofing your life, because demons really aren't into gratitude. You're less, your spirit, your more malevolent spirits, gratitude is really not something that they do well with. It's more like it's like their kryptonite. When
Right.
because when you're grateful for things, and you're appreciating everything, including little tiny things that no one else appreciates, what it does is it builds this net of spells around you, and around everything that you're appreciating. The
Hmm.
as and once I was standing by my piano, and I'm very much convinced this wasn't me. This was the one where I thought it could have been Jesus. I don't know. I'm not
Hmm.
Christian, but I think that he just kind of bops around and like talks to people just if he feels like it. I believe it could have been. I could be wrong. I don't know who it was, but this entity who felt a lot like Jesus would feel, okay? He
Hmm.
said to me, gratitude sublimates to the power of seven, and so does generosity. And he's like, chew on that. And I'm like, okay, I will. And it has really become something I've had to ruminate over quite a bit, quite a
Hmm.
bit. And I feel like what was he talking about? he said a bunch of other he's also said a bunch of other things or some other spirit or it's something that's felt very kind and
Yeah.
very helpful. Okay. And I believe what he's talking about is that when you are grateful for something in a very, very simple, basic context, you're just raising the vibe,
Yeah.
right? So it's, and as I was saying before, um, every single one of us, when we look at ourselves, we all want to be recognized for what we've done right. And the
Hmm.
worst feeling is to only be recognized for what you've done wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it just absolutely awful? And when you
Yeah.
feel like you can't do anything right, well, I feel like the object in the house of an ingrate, the neglected object, the bed that's never made or washed, the dishes that are never cleaned and put away, the toilet that's just left in a grotesque state, all of those things, they feel like they can't do anything right because they're never maintained. They're never cleaned. It's just like they're used and forgotten, right?
Hmm.
And so by taking these little things that people take for granted and by, clean, it's also, training to make oneself more diligent, clearly, but by taking this and putting this where it should be, which it's not, and by emptying the trash and by cleaning up Kitty's little litter box and by just having this routine and keeping everything on the up and up, it's every single time, especially if you do so with gratitude in your heart, you raise the vibe and you weave that net of spells around yourself and your home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's kind of how I open the book with just this talk of, well, maybe we can start talking to our spaces, but also listening to our
Hmm.
spaces because it's been a long time since humans figured out how to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I go into four great sections of the book, like four big sections of the book, which are by the seasons. Okay, spring being intention, and that talking about, so I go more in depth about this, rather woo-woo concept of everything having a voice, everything having a will, and that we are just one part of this great ecosystem. And then I talk about trying to remove perfectionism and introduce moderation in all things, as Apollo suggested at Delphi, especially where food is concerned.
Hmm.
Yeah, and there's definitely two opposites that are equally bad, and one of those one of those is the junk food junkie.
Right.
Um, not all the time. Okay, it's not as bad as I'm making it. Okay, but like
Yeah.
where it's just like, oh, I don't care. I'm gonna make that ramen.
Right. Because it's so tasty. Yes.
So good. Oh my gosh, it's so soothing. And yeah, and I'm just gonna, oh, so what? Devil may care. Don't care. And then there's the other side, orthorexia, where you're barely eating. It's like this. One person was saying that she can't have bread and let sandwich unless she makes the bread. Okay,
Wow.
I
Yeah.
would starve. Okay, I guess I'm never
Yeah.
having a sandwich again because my bread skills not good,
Right.
So yeah. So obviously this book is not about my homemaking skills. Because if
Right.
you want homesteading, this ain't the one right here. Yeah. Like never successfully canned a vegetable by myself. Never really successful. I've maybe made bread successfully twice. They're both in junior high. Like I had some weird talent for like 5 minutes and it went away. Messy desk. I am not Martha Stewart, not gonna happen, but I still feel like I have something to say, of course. So I talk about intention, not going these two wacky poles of either perfectionist or heat, or just complete slob. Okay.
Hmm.
And that sanity resides somewhere clearly in the middle
Yeah.
of it. And so and that by thanking our items and thanking our spaces and being a little more conscious that this is the beginning of the listening process. And I give that little prayer before you eat. north, south, east, west. May all who brought this food be blessed. And I give some suggestions for just very lightly starting to talk with things. Okay. Then there's summer, and summer is celebration. And celebration, I talk about that concept as I know we talked about last time of astral and etheric pyramids.
Hmm.
Right. And so of course, and in the intro, I do go into what is the astral plane? What is the etheric plane? Why do we care? Right.
Yeah.
And so I talk about how the restoration of the etheric plane via these pyramids happens, okay, and how they interact and mesh with each other, which again is, as you know, I've talked about in an essay or
Hmm.
two. I think I've
Yeah.
talked about it at this point. I with my Substack, I have a Substack at Kimberly Steele. I think it's substack.com/Kimberly Steele. I could, I believe that's what it is. Whatever. It's pretty basic. With that, I think I've been talking about the astral and etheric plane so much that I've at this point lost count. I think I honestly mention it every other essay. So it just tends to be my pet obsession is just this. I just ever since I, as a newbie occultist, figured out what the etheric plane was, I've realized I've been obsessed with it in a way, shape, or form for like my entire life.
Mm.
Because when I first found out about feng shui, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with this. I have to know more about this. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I feel like with feng shui, it is it's somewhat goofy because I feel like there's all of these strange rules with it,
Hmm.
with like the Pakwa square, and I don't know, do you know anything about it?
I know very basic feng
Okay.
shui. Like I call myself the lazy feng shui person. Like I have a money tree in my kitchen that is in a
Nice.
very specific corner, like that I
Yeah.
got down. That's about it.
That would be my version of feng shui too.
Yeah.
Like it's just right. I've got like a couple things where where people are like, "Oh, that plant, that's like good feng shui." And I'm like, "Oh,
Hmm.
okay."
Exactly.
Yeah, yay. Okay, good. Yay me because I didn't try.
Yeah.
Um Not hard anyway. But yeah, I feel like but the concept to me I've always
Hmm.
loved.
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, this is dead. This is correct. This is dead on. You guys are right." And a
Hmm.
lot of times I'll ameliorate bad corners with like either fake or real plants.
Mm.
So I do a lot of that, and I definitely borrow so pretty heavily from it.
Yeah.
But except for the stuff where it's like super technical and this direction and that direction,
Oh
and
gosh, yeah.
I'm just like I mean, but you're an astrologer, so I mean you know all about like really complicated attributions, whereas for me that's like above my pay grade.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, and I'm trying to study, I try to study astrology, and I feel like I know a lot more than I did, but I'm never going to be
It's
like, oh,
deep.
no, sometime I gotta like pay you to read my birth chart. Do you do that?
Yeah. Not just
No? Oh, okay.
yet,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, maybe
You're,
sometime in the future.
yeah, awesome. Well, keep me in mind. I'll,
Yeah.
give you money. Um, but yeah, as far as like feng shui, the complicated stuff, no. I am I can't help it. I just tend to be, I try to be down to earth to a huge degree. I don't always succeed, but I'm
Hmm.
really trying with this book very hard to be
Yeah.
fairly like, Joe regular person, not too, I mean, there's definitely a very occult aspect to this book, but it's not entirely outside of the tidying genre. It and that's why I think what is the third, the third chapter, or I'm gonna have to call it section
Hmm.
because it's too long to be a chapter, is about conservation. So it's fall.
Oh,
So
right.
like about preserving the harvest. And so that's where I finally get into the real nitty-gritty of like organizing stuff, and the parts, not my desk, but the parts of my like home that are organized. Like I basically share my methods, as much as I can, and why.
Hmm.
Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And then all along I'm talking a lot about magic and how magic works, and how a spell is not always a formal operation. Not all magic is, in fact, very little magic is ceremonial.
Yeah.
We're doing magic all the time. I mean, to my definition, magic, which is definitely adapted from Dion Fortune's, I would say, is that magic is the initiation process and reverberation of intention. So,
Hmm.
meaning that it all centers around intention. Okay. I'm always talking about this through, and we're not the only beings with intention, of course. This whole room has an intention. The This clutter on my desk has an intention. Uh, the FedEx envelope, which really needs a home, has an intention. It all has intention, just like I have intention. And
Yeah.
it's just, if we can be blind to it, but it's still there.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, so I talk about conservation. I talk about storing clothes, meaning what to get rid of, what not to. Oh, books. Here's a great departure from Marie Kondo. She's Japanese, so it's Marie. People don't
Oh,
realize that. So they call her Marie, but it's Marie.
yeah.
It's Marie.
Oh.
Okay. Because it's got the E, and that's how they say it. And they kind of say it like Mare, and it almost sounds like Mare when they say it, but it's Marie.
Hmm.
But anyway, but with Marie Kondo, the problem I have with her, she's like, "Oh, get rid of all your books." Hell no.
I know.
Do not get rid of any books. Okay, so if anybody is like watching this podcast right now, do not get rid of books. Do not ever. Don't. Oh my gosh, like never get rid of books. Books are like a lot of them are one of a kind, and
Mm.
they're not going to last forever anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
like y- they're going to disintegrate anyway because unfortunately they're paper.
Yeah.
But if you can save them, oh my gosh, they're treasures. They're never going to be printed again. There's so many. Like I've got uh my books and I'll have to turn my screen over here. I've got the okay, now that okay, see like right there.
Uh-huh.
Those are the ones that I've that shelf is organized according to the Dewey Decimal System.
Oh
I used to
boy.
work in the library. Yeah, and my goal is to take the rest of the 5 or 6 shelves like that in this house, probably more, and organize them in the same way. And make sure that everyone should save their books, save your books, even magazines. This
Hmm.
stuff's never going to get printed again. We're not in an age where it's all that publishing is going to come back. It's not going to all come back.
Yeah.
So if you have them, they are priceless treasures. And for, in my own like lower middle class situation, those are the only investment I will ever have. Okay? Like I'm never going to have a 401k
Hmm.
ever. It's never going to happen. Like that ship has sailed a long time ago. Um, Books are my only wealth, really. Like my car is like 20 years old. Works great, but it's 20 years old.
Hmm.
Oh, I've got a piano. No, the books, even though they're undervalued now, just watch. They're going to be very valuable. And all of these libraries that are dumping so many books, and so many are, which is so
Oh
sad.
yeah.
They're Yeah, I mean they're effectively torching money they're torching money in the future. So if yeah, anybody with a book with a collection, keep it. Um, you can make them into effectively books are insulation.
That's a
Like
good
a big
point.
shelf like that one over it's like an IKEA shelf or whatever those I forget the name of those, but it's like a
Hmm.
common IKEA type shelf. Um, they make it great insulation. Like if you line your entire wall and then put a thick curtain in the winter, and then you take that curtain, you stretch it ceiling to floor. There's not like any weather that's basically like adding a second thick wall,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Of solid wood, essentially, because it's paper, right?
Hmm.
So, obviously anchor your books to the wall because falling bookshelves are very dangerous, but
Hmm.
that's just, you know, hopefully that's obvious. But yeah, at some point, my husband and I, we lived in apartments and we would line the entire all the shelves of the apartment, all the walls of the apartment were lined with books. And it was really nice, very soothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I say no, do not go to your books. I also talk about clothing and that how, and this I'll talk a lot more in the book I've got planned for after sacred homemaking, sacred beauty.
Mhm.
That just this idea of like how we all have this avatar in our heads of like how we want to look versus how we actually look.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
And I suggest that you kill her, that you kill your
Oh
avatar. I'm
no.
sorry. She's not going to help you. She is hurting you. So she is very wonderful and beautiful. And yes, she represents your ideal. And you're thinner and taller and more symmetrical in the face. And I get it. I get it. She's so glamorous, but you got it. You got to let go of her, especially if you're my age. Oh, especially for my age. Yeah. I mean, so a lot of with Sacred Beauty, the follow-up book I've got planned for Sacred Homemaking is going to talk about aging, going through
Mhm.
menopause without hormones. Yeah, the pause. It's good times.
Ah, I've
Good
heard.
time. It is. It's not, it's wonderful. I love it. No, seriously, I'm serious. I'm trying not I just am naturally sarcastic because I was, raised in I was born in 1973, so that makes for a lot of sarcasm and Gen X.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, it's actually awesome. And aside from the hot flashes, it's amazing. Menopause is so amazing. Like that mood every time you say have your period, and well,
Yeah.
you probably still have yours, where it's just like really mad, and then just fine, and
Yes.
then just like, oh, I'm so pissed, and then oh, now I'm
Hmm.
depressed, and like all within the span of like 24 hours or whatever. Doesn't happen anymore.
That sounds great.
Not at all. Nope. And oh, remember those people who you get caught up in traffic or something really, somebody would say something nasty,
Hmm.
or you see some, obnoxious person that kind of like triggers your like worst inner self.
Right.
Nothing. They don't got nothing on me. It,
Hmm.
it's like so.
Right. And yeah.
And right,
Yeah.
yeah, it is. And that never used to be like that. Maybe it could have be like the fact I've done this fear production now for like, oh my God, almost a decade now.
Hmm.
It might be the vanishing ritual or something. I don't know, but it's funny how nothing it gets under my skin anymore. Nothing. It's like people who used to piss me off, like, oh, I was so mad, and I definitely am so fiery. Like my chart is so overwhelmed by fire. Like it's just
Oh,
I'm
right.
surprised that when I print it out or like look it up on the phone that this phone just doesn't spontaneously combust because of all the fire signs. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's like Leo, Scorpio. It's like Aries. Like it's like ooh, it's like
Give me a
ooh,
break.
just yeah. It's like and everybody's like you know
Oh my goodness.
yeah, but anyway, but menopause is amazing. Don't let anyone tell you differently.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. At least it is for me. I don't. So anyway, so fall I talk about the clothing and I used to work retail and um in retail, like in Marie Kondo's book, she kind of talks about getting rid of a lot of clothing and I agree.
Hmm.
I agree you should get rid of most of it, but again, it's all depends on you as well. I leave a whole lot more room for your personal preferences. Like some people's level of clutter is another person's minimalism.
Right,
And
exactly.
you always got to start where you are. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with somebody who's a maximalist at all. That's them.
Hmm.
And like, it might be, but unless you are truly supposed to be a minimalist, but there's no one size fits all. Okay. There just isn't. But for clothing, I share some of the things that I have found helpful, meaning like, if my house wasn't the size of a shoebox, I would definitely hang most of my clothing.
Right.
Because in retail, have you ever worked retail?
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Hmm.
In retail, as you know, all the good clothes are hung, like on the
Hmm.
racks, right?
Yeah.
All the best stuff, it's always on the racks. And then all of like the kind of not so great stuff is folded on the tables. And the crap, the stuff that nobody wants, is folded and in the back, or
hmm
on the back walls where the folding is. So I love folding, I love folded clothes. They're great, but honestly, if I lived in my ideal house and I do not, I would hang almost everything actually. Except for
Yeah.
like underwear or whatever, because that makes more sense in a drawer. Socks, makes more sense. I'm not gonna hang my socks. I'm gonna
Right.
actually like if I had like all this like one type of socks only, I would get one of those like plastic bag dispensers,
Oh,
that
right.
you use for the, yeah, like the little thing, and I would
Yeah.
just put them in there
Yeah.
but every single sock I have is like different, and some of them have like wacky designs or whatever. So it's no, unfortunately, I can't have nice things. But but yeah, so I talk about just my method of folding, which tends to be like camp roll folding.
hmm
If you've ever gone camping and you like roll your clothes, because before I had this wonderful washer dryer that my husband made, bought and installed for me, and I was taking my laundry all the time to my mom's house, um, and or the laundromat. I would camp roll my clothes because you can chuck that thing across the room like a football, and
hmm
it's not going to come apart. And that's really important if you're like schlepping your clothes back and forth. And I
Right.
think that's where most people are. Most people don't have the luxury of a washer dryer in their house, and I used to not. Um, so I think that, I share and then I do actually in the back of the book, well, this is planned and hopefully it'll all work out, but there'll be a folding index where I took painstaking photographs with my phone of all of this folding, like my hands, and like I had my husband like lean over me and like take the photo. It was really comical.
Right.
And so yeah, but just to show like via pictures, like actual photographs, like this is what you're going to do with your clothing. Yeah, so hopefully, high hopes that part of the book will come. It will be in the back, and then I have an index of spells, and then finally in the like fourth quadrant of the book, I guess you could call it, is winter because it's been spring, summer, fall, and winter. In winter, I think is where I talk about some of the really interesting stuff like hauntings,
Mm-hmm.
poltergeists, mimics, echo hauntings, and then I go, and I'm sure you've probably seen the excerpt from the book where on my blog where I talk about how sacred geometry acts as demon traps.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sacred geometry comes in a lot of forms. It's not just the most obvious ones like the Sri Yantra and like the hexafoil and the seed of life and the Metatron's cube. I mean, it's not it's that those are great things. They're fabulous examples, but sacred geometry is actually something we see in every single culture around the world pretty much that is magically literate, and that's pretty much all of them except for modern Americans. Um I mean, not widely. We're not wide. I feel like there's spots of magical literacy like you,
hmm
and then the and but as far as like widespread magical literacy, no,
Right.
no, not so much. But we see it in sacred geometry. Which what is sacred geometry doing? This is what I believe it's doing. It's working mostly on the astral plane, so it's the plane of images, right?
hmm
And that is one plane more subtle than the etheric. And the etheric is where they tend to manifest, right? The etheric is where they tend to do nasty things like make bad smells, and smell is very relative to the etheric. They make sounds, sound is etheric in nature. They play with the lights and the electricity, also etheric in nature. They like make ugly looking apparitions, that's etheric because you're just seeing the energy kind of do its almost physical. It's almost physical, but just not quite.
Yeah.
But astral is one level more subtle. So what you do, the astral shape of say the hexafoil is going to they see it. They don't have eyes, but they see it.
Right.
Okay. So it's there for them. Just it's there because it's there on the astral plane too. Okay, because all the planes are simultaneous, right? And when let's say I'm a demon or something, okay? And as a demon, I'm like looking for somebody to munch on or somebody to torment, and then I come to the bedroom of somebody with some sacred geometry. And what happens is like I notice the person, I'm like, yummy, but then I look and it's like, oh, look, the Sri Yantra, or look, the hexafoil, shiny. It's shiny. And the demon, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, demons will see that shape and it's shiny. Okay.
Hmm.
They don't, again, they don't really see it because they
Right.
perceive it. Okay. They
Yeah.
perceive it.
Perceive. Yeah.
They perceive it. They get drawn into it. And then what happens is they follow one of the lines
Hmm.
and then they start going in an infinite shape, round and around and around. And then by the time they unlock themselves from it, there's no more energy to harass whoever's sleeping down there.
Right.
And if the sleeper has been smart and has put out bowls of vinegar, which disrupt the etheric bodies of those creatures, when they try to manifest in the etheric, what substance is going to really mess them up? Salt, vinegar. Vinegar.
Hmm.
I don't know why vinegar acts like that. I could not explain to you.
It's just the smell, maybe. Like so
Acetic
strong.
acid? I don't
Or the
know.
acid. Yeah.
Maybe. But whatever, if it's evaporating in if you have problems, put bowls of vinegar, white vinegar, and it's like, oh no, the smell. Oh my gosh, deal with it. What do
I
you
know.
prefer, a smell or being assaulted in your sleep?
Right.
I'll
Yeah.
I'll deal with the smell of vinegar. Thank you. I'll smell like a salad dressing. We're good. Anoint
Yes.
myself with oil. I'll be like a human salad, but the demons will hate it,
Yeah.
right? So anyway, so putting those things out, and with the other forms of sacred geometry. So we have the Amish and their quilts,
Hmm.
right? So the little baby or the child is wrapped up in that beautiful quilt, and what does the demon see? They see the quilt. They don't see the sleeper. Native
Mm.
Americans have dream catchers. Now I have
Yeah.
heard dream catchers are problematic because especially if they use like animal materials, I don't know
Mm.
what that is. You really want to avoid like animal materials and stuff like that. Also, yeah, they can just be kind of an issue. But that shape, the idea is the shape, the symmetry, macrame.
Hmm.
Macrame, it's a bunch of knots. That
Yeah.
that probably would work even better. Um, with Africa, a lot of African cultures have the kitenge cloth,
Hmm.
which is these beautiful, vibrant, and a lot of times they'll wear them at weddings, right? Wear them at weddings because you want all that good luck. You want to take all the demons and distract their demonic intentions. And what do they see? That beautiful cloth. They don't see, and they wrap babies in them too,
Hmm.
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Distract the demon from the baby by wrapping in this beautiful cloth. Islam has mosaics, powerful, very powerful, and a lot of times in like Muslim spaces, they'll like cover every surface,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
everything, like the toilet. No, I don't know about that. I don't look in there. But they'll cover like in a bedroom or a sitting room, they'll just like the ceiling, the floor, the chairs, like everything is a symmetrical design. And another thing that you see that I think the Muslims get it right because they don't put any human or animal faces
Oh, right.
in their designs. And I think that's very smart. And the first thing I suggest, if you've got a negative haunting, because the whole world is haunted, okay? I mean, the whole world is completely haunted. We're haunted right now. There's entities all over the place. There's entities by you. There's entities here. There's entities in this machine. There's entities everywhere. So just like anybody who, don't mean to freak anyone out here, but you're surrounded all the time. But anyway,
Yeah.
but if you have a negative haunting, which is the kind where they're picking on you,
Hmm.
right? Then the first thing you want to remove from your space is anything that depicts a face. For instance, my adorable cat curtain would have to go. It has got pictures of Neko on it.
Aw, yeah.
I know, but it would have to go if I had a negative haunting. Now,
Hmm.
luckily for me, it's like I'm doing so much banishing rituals in this space. I would be very high, and also with a lot of sacred homemaking practices, there's a lot of I may have pictures of cats, but I also have geometric shapes as well hanging around,
Hmm.
and the constant banishing rituals, the constant meditation, the constant thanking everything. it'd be really hard for something nasty to get started in here.
Yeah.
It really would. I mean, yeah. But, you know, but if I did, I would also get rid of a lot of my mirrors, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you've got and I talk about the deleterious effects of screens. Unfortunately, one thing that I think I mentioned in the end of the book there, if someone's watching, yeah, I do say this, like if someone's watching pornography, that's gonna really be a way in.
Mm-hmm.
I do talk about I do speak against Ouija boards. I speak against seances. Doing like really haphazard invocations with no protection and no banishing rituals, and no.
Yeah.
That brings you're basically just rolling out the red carpet for it's like it's the spiritual equivalent of just leaving all your doors and windows open at night and leaving like a tasty snack on your kitchen table, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so that way someone will come and get it. So so I do suggest against any, seances or anything like that. And then I give a bunch of practices that are far, far better than that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, don't get me started on like seances and Ouija boards. I get so mad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't like, yeah. There's a lot of differing opinions on why, but I just know that you can invite things in and they can impersonate and
Yeah.
everybody and most people, like I've talked to some mediums and all sorts of, they just don't mess with those things. So I'm like, I won't
Good.
ever mess with those things.
It's like,
Yeah.
and I'm somebody who I talk to dead people all the time.
Hmm.
You know, it's, I feel like the seances are very disrespectful. The way they go about it, the way they go oogie boogie boo, with the flashlight or whatever,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, and like hold hands. It's like, no, you can talk to dead people. It's not like all necro weird
Right.
like that. Like you don't have to be an ass about it.
Yeah.
Just just talk to them. They're
Yeah.
people. They're people.
Yeah.
They're not like different because they're dead.
Right.
Yeah, their circumstances are different, but energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just changes form.
Yeah.
Like my father, as I mentioned, passed away, and I believe I talked to him.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's freaky or weird or anything. What's so funny is after I started doing a lot of spiritual work, because I was atheist 10 years ago, believe it or not. I can't even believe it. But after I started doing a lot of spiritual work just every day in, day out, very unglamorous, but I noticed I see I finally, I had waited years and years and years to see an apparition, right?
Hmm.
And then like one day in like 2021, I think, I was like walking through the forest preserve and I just saw a full body apparition. And I thought I'd be more freaked out. And just the other day, I was just like looking at the sky and some weird, definitely not real thing flew by.
Hmm.
It was a nothing burger. It was just like meh. It was like seeing a deer.
So can I ask
Mhm.
so when you saw the person in the forest, how did they
Yeah.
appear to you? Only because I have somebody I'm thinking about in my mind.
Um, okay, well this it looked like a person, looked like a hiker.
Hmm.
It was he was a middle-aged man, kind of skinny. He was wearing brown, he had a backpack, and when I made eye contact, and I start walking towards him, and he just melted away. Just
Oh.
not a scary way, not in
Right, right,
a
right.
like
Just psh, yeah.
Temple of Doom way.
Right.
No, not in like Indiana Jones way. No, he just basically, he just disappeared.
Evaporated or
Essentially,
something.
it was cool. I mean, it's cool,
Yeah.
but I thought I'd be a lot more freaked out by it.
Oh.
Like, okay, wow, that was, and it was interesting. He was the ghost of a suicide there,
Oh.
because
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, that forest is it's not. I don't walk in there anymore because I don't feel it's like particularly safe.
Hmm.
It's just it's a forest preserved by me that has a lot of like illicit activity.
Oh, gotcha.
And I just love it. I'm such a hoe bag for like walking in the forest preserve. So, but anyway, but that's yeah, and I remember that being my like the first like legit full body apparition that I
Mm.
saw, and I'm like, wow, I thought I'd be a lot more f freaked out about that.
Yeah.
And then what happened the other? Oh yeah, the other day I okay, and then I saw that weird flying thing, and then I've been seeing ghost cats for years,
Oh, yeah.
years. Even when I was atheist, I saw them. Like what?
How did you even explain that when you're an
I thought I
atheist?
used to think like all the stuff that I couldn't explain, I was like, oh, it's trans-dimensional bleed. It's another dimension.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Right. Which,
Which it kind of is.
kind of is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I wasn't like completely, but I any all of that stuff I was like, oh, it's another dimension bleeding over. Kind of. But it's still here. It's like
Yeah.
my mistake what that I made was that it's like something Twilight Zone-ish. It's not. It's just right here.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, I just made too much of it.
Yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, now I've begun to see things a little more regularly, and I feel like the spirit only shows you what you're ready for.
Oh, yeah.
Because yeah, otherwise it'd be like a little too much, you know. Just to be seeing it all the time, just like what am I? You because of course you'd be like accused of being schizophrenic,
Yeah.
right? Be
Hmm.
like, oh, you're schizophrenic. No, that's different. I know that's different.
Hmm.
You know, I'm not saying that they're not seeing entities. They probably are.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying the way these entities are presenting, it's a lot safer of a feeling.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
it's a lot more distinguishable between real and this is a phenomena, right?
Hmm.
It's a lot more easy to tell. Like, oh, that's not really there. You know,
Right.
that's more of a reflection of something else. There's a little girl. Oh, girly. Okay, I'm
Oh.
sorry. He's they want
No.
my attention. Okay.
Yes.
But yeah, so in the again the last quadrant, I guess you could say of the
Oh.
book,
Hmm.
I do talk extensively about hauntings, about what conditions lead up to a haunting.
Hmm.
I talk about aging, what happens after death, um, just how to honor the dead. In to my mind, to honor the truly honor the dead, the best way of communicating with the dead as well
Hmm.
is to simply take whatever made them wonderful, whatever their highest vibe was, okay, and imitate it. Imitate it. My
Hmm.
father was generous to a fault. He always he was I always say generosity not worry. That was him. Or
Mm.
gratitude not worry. I mean, I'm more conscious I think about gratitude than he was, but he was certainly more to my mind generous.
Mm. Hmm.
And generosity it does and even though he wasn't into woo-woo stuff or any of that, you know, um I just feel like he had that very naturally.
Yeah.
And it certainly, yeah, it certainly runs in families and his my grandmother was like that too. And my mother's like that too. So, you know, he certainly married the right person. But as far as as far as talking to the dead, it's not that hard. You just have to embody what made them worth knowing, what made them a good person. And then when you, because it's like tuning into a radio dial, right?
Right.
Yeah. And by tuning into that strength that they had, then you get to communicate with their higher self, which is the thing that's easiest to communicate with anyway, if you're tuned into it,
Hmm.
right? I mean, it all makes sense from a logical standpoint. And I hope I make this very clear in the book. I do. I mean, I hope that it resonates with people. But it's a long process to be published. I haven't talked to them lately. I need to like touch base with my publisher. But effectively, I think we're looking at like next year around this time. It just
Hmm.
there's so many things that need to be done. Um, copy it, typesetting, and we've got to get to the, I don't even know like how much of it they're happy with at this point, and how,
Right.
yeah, I'll get in touch with them soon. But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I mean, I have written books before, but they were fiction.
Hmm.
I wrote some like novels, and I'm glad I did because like it definitely gave me the perspective of an author. But nonfiction is very different than fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But but yeah, so I've got my second book that I'm trying to kind of cook up in my head. I don't know how exactly how I'm gonna structure that one yet. I'm working on it. It'll happen. It'll be called Sacred Beauty.
Hmm.
I really want to try to speak to these young women out there where, boy, I thought my generation had it really rough.
Oof, I know.
Or yeah, like I mean, do you feel like are you married
Yeah.
to okay, for how long?
Oh gosh, we've been together like 23 years or something. Yeah.
Wow.
But
Okay, that's
married
almost yeah.
12. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
fascinating. Don't you feel like you caught one of the last choppers out of Nam?
Sometimes, yes.
I know, right? I mean,
Yeah.
just when you're looking, I mean, these poor women, I'm just like, wow. Because men have it really bad too, because
Yeah.
of the economy being the state that it's in. Men can't provide. You need both spouses to be working.
Hmm.
Both spouses need to be hauling ass
Right.
in order to just, and then, oh my, heaven forbid you have children.
Hmm.
So it's just a really difficult climate just because of just the providing aspect alone.
Right.
Very difficult climate, and I don't know. So I just want to try to speak to them to give them some kind of thought of to some advice to help them prioritize inner beauty versus outer beauty because outer beauty, no matter how pretty you are, that's going away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And if you get too attached to it, it's going to eat you alive. Yeah, and of course, I'll take any opportunity to talk about how frightening, plastic surgery is and all that stuff. And I just love to talk about that. So I feel like that's another one of those books for me that will write itself.
Hmm.
Yeah. I just hope it doesn't take as long as this one did. This one took a while.
Well, you
It
know how
did.
it is. You got to do the first one and then you know all the
Mhm.
ropes at that point. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
is
what I
the
tell
idea.
myself.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah. But no, I've been keeping up with a lot of the weekly essays, and
Hmm.
that's I suppose, a lot of the material can be pulled from the essays because it's like certainly something I've kind of touched on. And with sacred homemaking, a lot of the material should seem a little familiar from my essays.
Yeah.
There's definitely like leitmotifs there that I think people will notice. So yeah. So it's like so if you're anybody who's like, oh, I'm excited. Well, a lot of it's reflected in the essays
Hmm.
really is. It's certainly not a completely foreign land. When
Yeah.
you read the book, it's like with like John Michael Greer books, right? Well, you read them and like this is kind of like one of his essays,
Right.
right? I mean, it says something new. Like there's always something new in there, but I'm like, yeah, I kind of remember him talking about that. It's just
Hmm.
nice to have it in pages.
And together,
Yeah,
like, yeah.
because that is
Hmm.
the joy of books. That's why you never get rid of your books, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because what if the internet went
I
down?
know. What are we gonna do?
What
I
if it
have,
got more expensive?
ugh, yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, so I would be sad because I'm a visual learner.
Mm.
I am
Hmm.
such a visual learner. Like, I cannot tell you how many things the internet has taught me how to do and
Oh my
cook,
gosh. For real.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could just like literally things today. Today, I probably learned something that off the internet that I couldn't. It's not that I couldn't learn it from a book because I could, but it just takes so much longer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes
Yeah.
way longer.
And it's just in this kind of crush of time, I don't.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
really not, it's just a wonderful luxury.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is.
Right. And like we could talk like this with pictures and stuff. I mean, I can't even imagine this like from when I was a kid.
Oh my
That
gosh.
talking to somebody like with video, because back then, like long distance phone calls were so expensive.
Oh yeah.
They were.
Yeah, they were
They would just
crazy.
be hundreds of dollars, and it was like in like money, the money back then. So it was more like $1,000 now.
Yeah.
But I remember like having my little friends where like their mother, let's say I had a little friend where she was I think from Korea, and every time her, the mom wanted to call the grandma, it was just like this ridiculous amount of money
Oh
for
my
like,
gosh.
20 minutes, 30 minutes. And now it's no big deal. But I mean, people don't
Mm-hmm.
realize like how huge that was. And that was not even to see video, that was just to hear their voice.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Long way
So
we've come.
definitely
Yeah.
much to be grateful for sure.
Yes.
Oh,
So I guess sort of like a couple questions.
sure.
So what are some common misconceptions about homemaking that you hope to challenge with your book? And you kind of spoke about it a little bit, but I feel like go go right in
Um,
there.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that your home has to be perfect.
Right.
And that again can go into this direction of Wendigo, of an
Oh, the right.
insatiable creature who has to eat more and more in order to get thinner and thinner. Because what happens is, I even kind of chastise people in the book. Like, I say, don't you dare use this book as an excuse to go out and buy a bunch of crap or like upgrade your house.
Oh, right.
Like right in the beginning of it, I talk about the housing upgrade luxury lifestyle, otherwise known as Hull,
Hmm.
which which is like that thing where upper middle class, family moves into like larger and larger homes, hoping to flip every time for the equity.
Oh, right. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's disgusting. Yeah, if have you ever seen House Hunters?
I think I
Oh,
know what it is, but I don't think I've seen an
oh,
episode.
that show pisses me off so bad. Like it's always these people where they're like, "Oh, well, we've got a budget of 850,000 to, a hundred, what yeah, like $1 million for this house." I mean, literally, we can just draw, oh, but we need to stay under $1 million because I'm like, oh,
Where you're already talking a million
oh my
at this
gosh,
point.
1.2 million, that's just too much. Like, oh my God. Like, what job does he have? Is he,
Hmm.
is what is he doing that, he's got that kind of money, sweetie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, it doesn't sound legal. But yeah, so is he a diplomat or something?
Right.
Like they're all diplomats on the show. I don't know. It's like who can do this? So like there's that, like the hall lifestyle, and I
Hmm.
and I kind of just warn against that in a lot of ways, because I think that's the problem I have with a lot of just the the existing material in homemaking. Another thing is, don't worship stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that I found a lot when I was researching the book, I found a lot of books about taking the toaster apart so you can deep clean it, but almost nothing about actually thanking the toaster
Oh,
for its work, right?
right.
It's like, oh no, no, like wash your sheets t every day, like a hotel. I'm not that sweaty.
I know.
I'm like, what do you think? I'm disgusting or something? Like, I take a bath like right before I get in bed. I mean, I'm
Hmm.
clean. Like it's not gross it's in my sheets, okay? It isn't.
Yeah.
They're clean, okay? So just stuff like that. I definitely warn against going overboard
Right.
because ain't nobody got time for that one.
No.
And and it's not really a form of appreciation. It's just obsession at that point.
Hmm.
You know? Right.
I feel like a lot of these like the tips and things that you're in your examples, I feel like these are people's clickbait or these are people's social media. You know what I mean? It's just like their, I don't know what you call that, like their particular thing that they can get attention for rather than it being something that is practical and useful for regular people to do every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like the ASMR type videos where I'm like, what planet do you live on? You have eight, you have eight different kinds of bath bomb. Like, what? And then we're watching you
Huh?
put them away, like in your perfectly organized
Oh my gosh.
lucite
Like
uh
why?
tackle box or whatever. And it's like, get a life. What are you
Exactly.
doing? And
That's a
I
lot
don't
of
feel
bath
like
bombs.
I love them too, but
Yeah, that's a lot.
do you really have to organize them obsessively like that or whatever? I mean, seriously, just some of the weird things that but again, if that's your thing, oh my God, knock yourself out.
You're right.
One thing I do say in the book quite a bit is just,
Uh-huh.
look, if you love it, you go ahead.
Yeah, do
Like
it.
that's my problem with KonMari. I'm just like, dude, not everyone folds their underwear. I get that.
Hmm.
I fold my underwear because I'm a freak and I just like folding. But my husband's underwear, I don't fold his damn underwear. Are you kidding me? I just stuff it in the drawer. He can
Right.
fold it himself.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I do fold mine because I just think it's fun and because they look like these little like burritos or whatever. But I mean, I understand that it's demented to fold your underwear. I mean, I get that. I just like it kind of. So I do give instructions on how to do it if you want to do it, but I'm not saying that anyone has to. Whereas I think with KonMari, she made the mistake of saying, no, you have to do it this way.
Oh,
And
right.
when you're doing she also suggests this kind of purge. She's like, no, either you purge everything in one fell swoop or nothing. I'm like, no, 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 no. No one, it's like I don't have time to not work for 2 months while I do that. That's not gonna
Oh my
happen.
gosh. Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm gonna be homeless and I won't have to worry about any of it, Mari.
Right.
I won't have to worry about a damn thing because I'll be living in my car,
Right.
you know? So what I suggest is people do an exercise I call clean one corner, where
Mm-hmm.
you start in a corner and you make sure you make that observation, look at the corner, like my desk could be that corner right now, by the way. And that then you do the business of cleaning it all, getting it all ship shape and Bristol fashion, and then you do a very important step at the end of putting a decorative item on it.
Mm,
It's a finishing touch. It's like a sealed with a kiss, okay?
right.
And then observe what it feels like afterwards. And if you do observe that the vibe is very much improved, which most likely you will, congratulations, you're psychic. Yeah.
That's true though. It's
Yeah.
100% true.
Yeah. I mean, we all, it's like, and people think it's more complicated than that. I wish these cats wanted to cuddle like I want to
I
cuddle.
know.
I
Come
know.
on.
You're so cute. How can you not want to cuddle? You're so soft.
I know and warm.
Oh, my baby. But yeah, so it's like, how can, right. I feel like you can't not figure that out. And that's what I'm hoping that the whole book is like for people. We're like, okay. Okay. This wasn't that hard to figure out. And I think that's the problem I have with a lot of occult books. Okay.
Mm.
They think they're gatekeeping.
Oh, oh God. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Stop gatekeeping with occult stuff. Like, we are living in an age of spiritual leprosy where we
Hmm.
need all hands on deck.
Yeah, I agree.
I was a
Yeah.
sailor in a former life. That's why I use
A lot of
a
ship
lot of
stuff.
ship metaphors. Yeah, I died at sea
Oh
that time. I was
no.
a man. I was a man. I died at sea.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it took a while to make peace with that one.
Ugh. It doesn't
Or
seem
just,
like the best
yeah.
great way to go for
No, it's
sure.
not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
You die of dehydration. Yeah.
Oh, you're like how, but you're like in the ocean with
Yeah,
salt water.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you die of dehydration and
Oh
exposure.
gosh.
But
Oh,
it, I'm it's like it all comes out in the wash.
yeah. But I'm
Yeah,
ching.
or the
Yeah.
ocean.
Yes, or the ocean. Yes.
So yeah,
Um,
so that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to dumb it down.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trying to, earth it out
Yeah.
so that your layman can read this book and not be an occult person
Hmm.
and just like, oh, okay. That's not really that hard to figure out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
And then, yeah, hopefully, lighten some of the collective astral sepsis that was really bad today.
Oh
Wasn't
yeah.
it? Wasn't it? Like the astral weather. I don't know about your area, but today the astral weather was so bad around here. Like the real weather, like the meat world weather was gorgeous. It was like this
Hmm.
beautiful clear sky. Oh my gosh, it's like so pretty. Pink clouds and blue and in pastel colors and all. It was gorgeous, but
Mm.
but man, the astral weather, septic.
Oh gosh. Me, I haven't tapped into it very much today
Yeah,
for that reason.
it's not a good idea. Oh my gosh, girl. Girl, oh my gosh. I am sorry, my cats
I
are being jerks. They are. Wow, you two. Don't do
know.
my
Oh
dog.
my gosh.
Girl, oh dear me. I can tell. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, one of you is leaving.
Uh-oh.
All right, I'll
Got
keep.
kicked out.
Okay, yeah, someone just got kicked out for that. Bad kitty.
Oh, it was so cute
Yeah.
though.
But he's like so happy that he's alone with mommy now.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was a conspiracy.
Oh, yeah, you did it on purpose,
Yeah.
mister. You did it. Yeah. That's the
Oh
Ashley again.
my goodness.
So anyway, but
Mhm.
yeah, but no, I'm excited about the book. It's a
Yeah.
long way from publication at this point. Um, but I'll certainly keep you posted
Oh, please.
on it.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm
For
excited to
sure.
read it. I'm excited. Yeah, that's going to be so great.
Yeah, I hope that I succeed in my mission to again make it rather accessible for
Yeah,
the average layperson. Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, yeah, congratulations. That's
Thank
so
you.
exciting.
Thank
Can
you.
you tell our audience, like, the publisher is a really
Sure.
cool publisher. Like, let's get some
Yes,
information.
it's going
Yeah,
to be Aeon Books.
yeah.
They publish a lot of the John Michael Greer stuff. I think it's just aeonbooks.com. I believe that
Mhm,
that's their website. Yeah, they already have a lot of really great herbal books. The publisher and his wife, I think they're very avid herbalists.
mhm.
And among, and of course they have a huge offering of John Michael Greer books and all sorts of wonderful things. So, yeah, check them out for sure. Yeah.
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 And your Substack and your
Yes.
website. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a Substack. I have a Dreamwidth and a Substack. Both are Kimberly Steele is the what to look for, Steele, like Remington, not Danielle. Yeah, and I publish weekly essays on Substack. The reason why I started was mainly because I am never going to make a mailing list out of people's addresses. That's not going to happen
Hmm.
with me. I'm just not that kind of person. I can't. Like I'm not organized enough.
Right.
And so Substack, like what happens if you sorry, my cat there's cat hair all over my nose here. Uh so Substack is really cool because they just email whoever subscribes. And
Oh,
so every
nice.
we yeah, so that's absolutely why I made one in the first place. And then I have a
Hmm.
special like paywall essay, and I try to make it one, a paywall essay every week on like saltier subjects, like really salty sometimes. Like sometimes I'll talk really candidly about autism or
Hmm.
just some of the really dark things that I think about, but I usually like to keep that as my paywall only for, really, really good reasons.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of it's very entertaining to read, but yeah, again, I don't feel it's necessarily suitable for like, younger audiences or whatever. Whereas like most of my essays and blogs are definitely all ages.
Hmm.
Yeah, so anything that's not the secret Substack stuff is very accessible. Yeah.
Cool.
So it's either Kimberly Steele there, and then yes, I am a musician. One of my big projects is the Orphic hymns, which I take a bunch of these old poems that were translated into English in the uh, 18th 18th and 19th centuries, and I put them to very like singable folk music. It's for to some degree on brand with my whole sacred homemaking approach, where
Hmm.
I seek to make something that was rather esoteric into a kind of digestible form.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, in order to just make it um occultism for dummies.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I love JMG. I do John Michael Greer. I love him, but oh my gosh, he is so above my pay grade sometimes. Like I'll just be reading like I remember reading the whole thing about the Wagnerian opera
Oh
and just being
gosh.
like the whole series he made on that and I'm just like, oh, I swear you could probably see smoke coming out of my ears for a lot of that. And I'm a musician, like I should be more like
like
well
into
versed
it
on
and
that.
like,
It's just like, oh
yes.
God, oh my head is hurting right now. Yeah,
Amazing.
so it's like so I tend to be the I think the less erudite and less intellectual version sometimes
I mean,
of
not
a
everybody is going to be like his depth of like occult and esoteric plus
yeah.
Wagnerian, like plus
Yeah,
astral.
exactly. I don't have that kind of candle power,
Heck
so
no.
but my head is off to it, you know. It's just like,
Yes,
wow, you know. I'm a musician, so right, like I said, I should have at least understood a little more of the vibe, and I did. I'm like,
of
thanks to
course.
4 years of musical college, I did kind of catch on to some of that. But
Phew.
yeah, yeah, and
Wow.
I use it. I actually do. I'm one of the few people who uses her degree every day.
Nice.
I because I make musical arrangements. I have like a little Etsy store for anybody interested in sheet
Yeah.
music. It's a lot of it's very cute. It's called Sheet Music by Kimberly on Etsy.
Very cool. Yes. Well, everybody, you have to check out all of Kimberly's stuff. Waiting for that book to come out. Her Substack. The Orphic hymns are amazing. We talked about that in our last chat. And yeah, and you write sheet music. So that's awesome. So I always, we always leave. You left us with some great wisdom and last time, and you've given us such great wisdom.
Oh.
Are there any new words of wisdom that you would like to leave us with today?
Um, boy. Uh, okay. Sweep your floor every morning and make your bed. Make your bed. Every day, make your bed and thank it. Clean your toilet every night and thank your toilet. Does the hardest job
Yeah.
in the entire world. Nasty job it has to do. I believe that if you do all those things, you will just get luckier and luckier. And all those things you want to manifest will start coming into your life. It's funny how it works that way. It's not the way we would expect it to work, but that daily diligence and the daily appreciation, that is the secret of sacred homemaking. Just that determination. Don't give up
Mhm.
and clean up after yourself. You'll feel good. You're gonna feel good about it. It's gonna bring you luck.
Wonderfully simple and approachable. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kimberly.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And I hope you have a really good night.
You too. Your support means the world to us. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please take a moment to like, comment, and share it with others who might find this content valuable. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more enlightening discussions. Your engagement helps us grow, and we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for being a part of the Casual Temple community.